Hello, I am contestant 000029-00034724 for the graphic design promotion. And this here is my release form. This is my flyer. This is my logo. Here's my pin. And here's my Works Cited page. The only piece of my design that does not belong to me is a 2D font that I borrowed for the word go and designed over top of it. Everything else is completely hand-drawn with Procreate on my iPad Pro. So my theme I decided to go with Go Beyond. And the inspiration behind that was I wanted to promote having self-confidence and being more than just good enough. Because both of those will lead to a very happy and successful future. So once I had my theme, I started with my logo. My first idea was to do the Earth in outer space, but I did not like that idea, so I scrapped it and I started anew. And I had this idea where it was like blooming flowers. So I started off with my Beyond font, and I liked the way it looked, but I found that every time I was doing my background, it wouldn't come together, and I didn't like the way it was going. So I thought back to my original idea, took out the Earth and the solar system, and I focused more on the stars in space, and came up with this. And a couple of changes were made. I changed the background from the blob thing to make it have it a bit more movement and life to it, I guess. And added a bit more green to it at the end, because that's part of my color scheme. And in the end, I ended up with this finished logo and pin, and this finished flyer. When it came to my design choices, specifically my color scheme, I wanted to especially incorporate pink and yellow because pink represents passion and yellow energy. And then I added in the blue, which represents inspiration, and a little bit of purple, which represents power in a way, and green so that it would complete the color scheme I was going for. And the design for my theme was originally inspired by the Apollo 11 mission. And the reason why that is because the National Leadership Conference next year is going to be taking place in Texas, which is where the first American man was put on the moon. So, outer space. And stars, because when you think about it, back in the old days, people would look up at the stars and think that, wow, they're so far away, we can never reach them. But once they realized that it could actually be possible, they worked really hard for it, and they made it up there. And it's kind of like, the stars are kind of like dreams in that way. They seem so far away, but once you realize that it's possible to reach them, you can be among them one day. In fact, you may be able to go beyond, maybe even past the universe, into the universe, past the galaxy. And just like the universe, your future, if you go beyond and stay determined, is full of endless possibilities. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bree. We're at 4 minutes and 26. I read the clock wrong. I thought we were at 5. And I did it 1. We're at 4 minutes and 32 seconds. So you're in your realm. 4
Okay.
minutes and 28 minutes. Okay. I screwed you up. What resources did you use when making your design, flyer, or logo?
I mainly used Procreate as my way of designing, and everything else was mainly out of my head, and I was kind of just trying to remember, trying to cartoonize, I suppose, like a shooting star in the stars, and trying to remember my cursive, I guess. I don't know, I didn't use that many outside resources other than the font that I used for the word go and go beyond. I got that off of a website full of fonts that I could use for free for personal use.
Okay, what feelings did you hope to involve in your logo?
I wanted to encourage people, I think specifically people in my generation personally, but it could be for anyone, to really just work up the confidence and the determination to really strive for your dreams. Because I just kind of feel like nowadays people are just focusing in on the moment and what makes them happy now rather than what would make them happy and healthy in the future. So I just wanted to encourage people to be the best that they could possibly be so that they could be better off in their future.
Okay, and the last question, what was your thought process behind your color and font choices?
All of the colors I chose were representing passion, energy, inspiration, um, and power. And green kind of represents nature, but it wasn't too important. It was just to complete the color scheme. Because I feel like all of those are really important to have if you're going to convince yourself to get up and get moving.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's see this.